Hello, hello, Kansas City Royals fans. We are now into the 2025 season, August 1st. We just finished the trade deadline. So pretty decent season for us so far. It's been an interesting way to get here. Some injuries, some poor performances, and some stars playing like stars. And here we are at 58 and 44. As you may recall, we realigned the top two in each division get in, and then the next two in the league with a wild card. So right now we're a game and a half up on the Rangers for getting the second seed out of the Central. If not, we still have some wiggle room, I guess, with the wild card. So we're 2 games up on the Cardinals and Mariners, who are tied for the last wild card spot, and then it's a 3.5 game drop to the Giants. So we're in a decent spot, but we've got to keep winning for sure. And so first place does get a bye. So if we were able to reel in the Astros, that would be a pretty big deal. It's interesting that the Astros here, man, like their run differential is -6, but they're 64 and 38. We've got a +33 run differential, so pretty decent. We where to begin here? Where to begin? Because I made some trades at the trade deadline. Let me go and show you just some of the injuries that we have right now. So Matt Acosta, who is going to be a major dude for us, went out hurt at the beginning of the year after just 6 games when he was playing really well. He had a 400 BABIP and was striking out 42% of the time, but he had hit well in 6 games, and he's just now gone out on a rehab assignment. So he's basically missed the whole year. Nicky Lopez, our starting shortstop, went out on June 15th and basically is going to miss the rest of the year as well. Now, he wasn't hitting well again, but really, man, he's in there for the defense. Like, he's such a – you can see last year he put up 2.4 WAR, 2.5 WAR the year before, all while being, like, around the 70 WRC plus and OPS plus guy. So he's there for his glove. He's a far below league average with the bat, but he's such a good defensive player that he ends up being an above-average major league player. And it's a really big hole to fill, which is what she said, when you have a star center fielder or shortstop go down, like a star with the glove. That's really hard to replace in this game. So that was a big blow. Brooks Lee, who you might remember we got from a trade from San Diego back in January, he worked his way up, and he'd come up and he was hit. He got a really short time with those 25 plate appearances, but hit really well, and then went out with shoulder inflammation in June, and then like a few weeks later it came out that he needed surgery, so he's out for 8 more months still. So he's obviously out for the year too. DL Hall, he pitched 24 mediocre innings for us, and then went out with a torn flexor tendon. He's out another 11 months. Sonny Gray, who we brought in on the 1-year deal, pitched 26 mediocre innings for us, and then out with a torn flexor tendon. As you remember, Shohei Ohtani missed the first 3 months of the season. We've had other injuries in there too. We'll get into them. I think Devers missed some time. It's been a lot of injuries, and I did bring in a new trainer this year, and I don't know if you recall this or if I covered it, but the choices were pretty underwhelming. You can see, he's really good at preventing. He's excellent at arm injuries, outstanding, but something like average at preventing back injuries, average at fatigue recovery, the rehabbing, good, decent, good, inexperienced. So I think this is an area it could just be bad luck, right? Like, sometimes you just have seasons like this, but I think we might look to replace him after the year just because it's been such a rough season. So next I'll go to, let's go to the transaction log, and I'll show you the trades that we've made. We did sign Bobby Witt to a extension. We'll get to that because that is exciting as hell. So let's see. When did I start making the trades? So we got some options, option. Yeah, you can see all these. Oh, Asa Lacy missed a bunch of time. Hernandez missed time. Somebody else was here too. Devers. Yeah, so you can see just all these guys that missed time. Pretty brutal to navigate all that, but we're still doing well. There's a draft picks. So I guess I waited until July to make all the trades. My first round pick was this guy, who has not done much yet. I picked 26 overall. This was a college bat. There just wasn't really a ton out there at this time, and this guy had some potential with the bat. And I've been going with a lot of high school bats in this sim, and it really hasn't been working out for me player development-wise. So I went with a college guy who basically has a bunch of defensive versatility, is a leader, has good work ethic, low on greed, and he's a fly ball hitter. So I went with him. He hasn't done much as a 21-year-old in rookie ball, but we'll see. Let's see. So Ohtani came back. So he went out on injury rehab on the 20th, and I think I called him up on like July 1st. I let him get like 2 starts in. So let's go over the trades. So the first trade we made was to the Mariners, who were kind of falling out of it, but they've gotten hot lately since making this trade. I guess we got Andres Munoz. So he obviously is an elite reliever. He's a free agent. We were having some difficulties in our bullpen, which I can show you right here. So our bullpen ERA, it's 8th now. It's bumped up. Our starter ERA is 4th. We are, where's runs allowed? 6th in runs allowed. You can see our defense has struggled. Runs scored, we're 9th. We really struggled in power, but we did a lot to try to address these deficiencies at the trade deadline. So we traded for Munoz here. The main guy was Jorge Juan. You might remember I got this guy. I was pretty excited about him, but it just wasn't working out, man. Like, his FIP and his SIERA continued to be pretty decent, but he only threw 68 innings for me, right? It's not a ton, but the 5.40 ERA, it just wasn't working. The 5 walks per 9, he was striking out a ton of dudes, but it was basically like, I needed an arm who could help me this season. Like, this is a very, very much, we're in the middle of our contention window here. So we shipped him out with some other prospects that we're not too upset about losing. And we brought in a new closer, so that helps. So then, man, left field was a total disaster for us. Like, Acosta went out, Hayes was terrible, Lutz wasn't doing anything. So we went out and got the best player on the market. Not just the best left fielder, the best player in Austin Meadows. He's a lefty, which isn't ideal for our lineup, but he'd hit 23 home runs in 92 games for a team that's really struggling offensively, had a huge hole in left field. It was great to be able to get him. He's a free agent after the year. I don't think he'll be back. He wants a lot of money. He's on the wrong side of 30, but we'll cross that bridge after the season. Maybe we'll see. There are a lot of moving pieces here, but we did give up a guy who had been successful for us at the major league level in Christopher Sanchez. The Angels were really only interested in like my very top prospects or a roster player. Now, Sanchez had thrown 90 innings for us. He was a follower, so it doesn't look like he was a starter, but all of these were starts. And he'd put up a 3.89 ERA. And the year before, he had thrown 81 innings and put up a 2.56 ERA. He'd been a really good pitcher for us, but I think that we have other guys who can do what he does. He wasn't an ace for us. Despite it, that ERA last year was great, the ERA this year was great, but I don't see him as a guy who has a lot of longevity pitching that well for us. So to go out and get like the top bat on the market, pretty big win for us, I think, even if the Angels do get a guy who they can plug into the rotation on a cheap deal for a while. Now, we brought in Gene Segura basically to play third base. Witt has shifted over to shortstop. Alberto Mondesi had actually lost his center field job, which we'll get into in a minute. And then when Lopez went out, Mondesi became our third baseman, and it just wasn't working. So we brought in Gene Segura, who is not an ideal third baseman with just a 60 arm, but he was having a great year at the plate. We needed a right-handed hitter who could hit well. Now he's only had 19 plate appearances, hasn't done anything for us yet, but he's also a free agent after the year. So all these guys are free agents after the year. They're all rentals. For him, we gave up Austin Krob, who is out for another 6 months with a torn elbow ligament. He's 25. We drafted him in the 9th round of 2022, and then he's worked his way up all the way to AAA. But that was kind of a no-brainer for us, I thought. We then went and got Gregory Soto from Nashville to help fortify our bullpen. Another rental. We just needed more relief arms. The guys we just needed more depth between the injuries we've had to guys like Hall and Gray and things like that. Our pitching staff is not as deep as it was at the beginning of the year. We've also had some poor performances. So Soto is another guy that came in to kind of fortify our bullpen. We gave up Ricky DeVito, who I think was a draft pick. Oh no, we got him in a trade. Okay, so I got him in a trade. So he's in AAA. He's a 26-year-old pitcher. He was having a nice year for us in AAA last year and this year, and it looks like he hasn't pitched for them yet. But the trade was just a few days ago. Yeah, I mean he was pitching out of our bullpen at a 1.58 ERA and 1.5 WAR in 62 innings. So he's having a really nice year. But at 26, obviously willing to give him up. So we brought in Austin Meadows. That freed up another Austin Hayes, who was having a bad season. He'd put up a 79 WRC plus in 274 plate appearances. He's a free agent after the year. Not totally shocked that this didn't work out with Hayes, but line drive hitter who could play well defensively, right-handed. On the last year of his deal, we brought him in hoping it would work out, and it didn't. But we traded him and got back. I just lost my place. Oh, here we are. This is the main guy that we're excited about getting back, Edison Mora, who certainly has some flaws in his game and is 24, but with this power potential and fly ball hitter, we thought this was a pretty good get for a major league outfielder who's 30 and a free agent after the year and was basically an extra piece for us. So we'll see what Edison Mora can do for us. He'd been signed out of independent ball by the Brewers, and now here he is coming to us, and he's a right-handed hitting bat, which I like because we have a lot of lefties in our system. And we got back a couple other guys who don't really matter. Same guy, this Chris Bowman guy, I don't know if that bat's going to play in the majors, but that range sure is great. And he was playing in Double-A. I should probably promote him there. I'm not sure why the computer placed him in rookie ball, but here we are. So those were our trades. Then we'll get into those extensions. You see that Alec Marsh won there. Let's just look at the team. So WRC plus wise, Ohtani's having a great season, but only 93 plate appearances. Of course, he's hurt. Nick Castellanos, that acquisition's worked out great. 132 WRC plus. Melendez and Witt, just absolute stars still. I mean, Melendez is on pace for another 5.5 WAR this year as a catcher. Witt on pace for 6.2 WAR. He's shifted over to shortstop for us to fill in. The range isn't great. The zone rating's negative, but man, like I did, before I got Segura, I did try to find like a shortstop I could bring in who would be an upgrade defensively over Witt and then move Witt back to third, but trade just wasn't there for us. So he'll be there for us the rest of the year, as long as he's healthy, knock on wood. But and then we'll hopefully have Lopez back next year or figure out another thing to slide Witt back to third. So Meadows has just come in. He's only played 5 games, but he's been a monster for us so far with a 160 WRC plus. Segura, those aren't really stats with us. Everybody's favorite second baseman, Nick Lofton, a totally acceptable season. Totally acceptable. He doesn't, he's our starter, but he's not like 150 game per year guy. We give other guys at bats to cycle through. So he's on pace for 446 plate appearances, but a 102 WRC plus league average. Is this a place we could upgrade at some point? Yeah, but he's not killing us. He's not a hole in our lineup right now. So that's a win for this year. JC Correa has gotten more and more playing time during the Devers injury, and even since Devers came back. Now he's cooled off a bit to where his WRC plus is down to 94, but he's a righty and he hits lefties well. So he's actually starting at DH over Devers against lefties because Devers is struggling again this year, and most of his struggles are against lefties. So Correa is now platoon guy. He's a utility guy who platoons at DH. Kevin Biggio got off to just a horrid start, but has turned it around, I think. Let me just make sure he's still... Yeah, so you can see he had a -3 WRC plus and a 76 with then a 96 and a 98. So he's been a league average bat who walks a lot and is versatile defensively for the last 2 months. So that's an acceptable level of production for him. Although the Biggio haters out there, would be like, this is some material for them, William. The start he got off to, but he's turned it around, and he's a perfectly adequate bench bat for us after a really bad start. Devers, man, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We signed him to that contract. And now, admittedly, this contract that I signed him to was totally different from how I normally approach this game. And that, I'm seeing why I normally don't start this or sign these kind of deals. The 7-year, $166.8 million deal, which we're in, the second year of? Yeah, the second year of. He was a complete monster for us with a 147 WRC plus, and then he injured his back early in 2024. He had recurring back spasms that he was out. He missed a lot of time for in 2024, and he just has not been the same player. I guess maybe that could be it. He's missed time this year. I said after the first year, I thought it'd be kind of cheesy to trade him after one bad year, even though I kind of wanted to. After 2 years, I might have to, or I might do it. I don't have to. I think I'd have to tie a really good prospect to him, like one of my top prospects to him, to get rid of him at this point because he's been so bad and he's owed so much money. But he's decent. Well, I mean, he's still not good, but he's league average. In OPS plus, he's league average, 100 versus righties. Against lefties, he's got a 119, 185, 136 slash line in 65 plate appearances against lefties. So he's now actually on the bench against lefties as of like this week. Finally, benching our highest paid player. Mondesi, man, really, really rough year for him. And he also lost some outfield range. It used to be a 70, I do believe. So he hasn't hit, and he was also racking up negative zone rating pretty quickly at center field. So I made a move, and I brought in RJ Mayer, who is a guy I drafted in the 13th round, 2022. He's got an 80 range. Now, I can live with the 60 WRC plus if he's going to be like one of the best fielders in the league, which he has the possibility of being. We can deal with that. He came up, let me go to the MLB splits here. He came up in mid-June, and in 48 plate appearances in June, put up a negative 12 WRC plus. He struck out in 48% of his plate appearances. In July, though, he's above league average with the bat. I don't expect him to be above league average. If he's above league average with the bat with his glove, he's like a superstar player. So hoping maybe he could be a starting center fielder for us, because with this 80 range, that's great, but he can't strike out 48% of the time. He's got to be somewhere closer to the hitter he was in July than the hitter in June, because the hitter in June, I don't know, man, like I don't think I can handle that even with the 80 range. Tristan Lutz was one of the guys in the mix for our left field job, and he actually, man, he was like decent for a little while. In April, he had a good April. He had an okay May, and then he had a bad May. He had an okay June, and then a really bad July. So he's trailed off, but he's now like just a bench outfielder. I chose him over Hayes to keep as my bench player because Hayes has some trade value. Lutz is younger, has option years, etc. And then Rafael Marchand. He was really bad last year, and this is actually news to me. I hadn't looked at him in a while because he was off to a really good start. Oh, so he had a really good April, and I guess that just held him up for a while, but he's just tanked lately. I mean, he had an 056, 105, 056 slash line in June in 20 plate appearances. So, yeah, way to go, bud. Pitching staff-wise, our rotation, I mean, Singer, look at this guy. He's on pace for 5.4 WAR. He's got a 2.52 ERA. Ohtani has a 1.95 ERA. Alec Marsh, remember, took a huge step forward in the offseason, 2.20 ERA. Zerpa and Lacey really, really struggled early on. He went to the bullpen. He's now back in since we traded Sanchez, and he's turned it around. So hopefully he can continue to turn that around. Munoz, Klein has struggled. He was a great reliever for us the last couple of years. He's struggled a bit this year, but has gotten on track. Suriel has been great, even though he's given up 3 runs in 2 of his last 5 plate appearances, but he's still on pace for over 2 WAR in 89 innings. Soto, Murphy, and Martinez are guys who have been around both years. They've been fine. Hernandez and Garcia have both been fine. But yeah, our depth has been tested. So on to the exciting contract extensions. We handed one out to Bobby Witt Jr. So he had 2 years of arbitration left, and his estimates were like, I think it was up to like 15 million and 21 million. And then he was going to hit the open market. and he was not interested in a multi-year deal, but I made him interested. No, I mean, I just basically, I tried to tie him up for a few years, and we ended up coming to a 5-year, $104 million deal. The last year is a team option, obviously well below market value. He might have even had 3 years of arbitration left. I can't recall, but basically he's getting obviously guaranteed $104 million, but so close to free agency, I don't think he would sign this deal in real life. But we're paying him a good bit more than he was due next year, and then also obviously guaranteeing him money on the back end. But that's obviously a very team-friendly deal for our superstar infielder, left side of the infielder. Alec Marsh is a guy who's making the league minimum, and coming into the year, we thought might have a good year because he took a huge step forward according to the scout, and he's just lived up to it. 2.20 ERA, 2.75 FIP in 94 innings. So he was due 3 years of arbitration, and his estimates were like $5 million, $12 million, and I think $18 million or something. Or actually, no, it might have been less than that. I think it was like 5, 11, and 15 maybe. So anyways, he's turned that one brilliant half a season into a 4-year, $47 million deal. 11, 11, 11. So he gets $33 million out of his 3 arbitration years, which I think was around what he was due, but it just kind of evens it out. So I'm paying him and Witt more next season than they would have been due in arbitration, but less money overall. And the team option at age 31 for $14 million as a $1.4 million buyout. So that's where the team stands. We're going into a series against the Royals, and we're trucking right along. We got within 4 games of Houston. I don't know, man. I feel like maybe they should trail off a little bit with that run differential. They should show some respect and just decide to not be as good for a while, because they don't deserve this record that they have. They're playing Jonathan Scope every day, for goodness sake. Come on. What's holding that? So, their pitching's terrible. They're 11th in runs allowed. Their offense is fine at 6th, but hopefully we can catch them. So, I'll go ahead and see how this season shapes up, and we'll check it out here in just a second. All right, so we're at the end of the regular season. It's Sunday, October 5th, 2025. Last day of the regular season. We just completed our last game. We beat the Twins 5-2 to finish with a record of 92-70. 2 games behind the Astros, who tried their best to give the division away to us, losing their last 12 games. I believe 3 of those were to your Kansas City Royals. Yeah. So the Astros, they tried their best to give it away, but we at least make it in as the 2 seed out of the Central. And our run differential on the season ended up at plus 45. So we were 6 wins above our Pythagorean, but the Astros here, 94 wins with a negative 39 run differential. Incredible. 17 wins above their Pythagorean. The Cardinals here, man, plus 138, minus 9 of their Pythagorean. Did they make the postseason? No, they didn't make the postseason. Oh, my goodness, with a plus 138 run differential. And they had one of the best bullpens in baseball, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. Just bad distribution of outcomes, man. 22-34 in 1-run games. They need a little bit of that Astros luck. And it's probably really just luck. 34-14. In 1-run games. So let's get into the team. Hey, if you're still watching at this point in the video, we're 20-some minutes in at least. Look at the link in the description. It's where you can go donate money to Parkinson's Research. It's my fundraising page for a charity event I'm taking part in later this month. I've mentioned it in earlier videos. Thank you to those of you who have donated. I appreciate if any of you can take the time to do it. My connection to Parkinson's and Team Fox is that my mom has Parkinson's disease. She's also the one who organizes this event. So if you can click the link, if you have a little money you could donate, I'd really appreciate any help you can give me in reaching my fundraising goal. All right, so how did the season wind up? Well, we ended up 10th in runs scored. We ended up 6th in runs allowed. Our defense made some progress throughout the year, but we still ended up 11th in zone rating. Really, story of the franchise, I think, in a way, and some of this is playing in the ballpark we're in, just struggled for power. We struggled for on base too. I thought would be better in on base percentage. Our pitching staff was really good, and our hitting was fine, and it got better as the year went on. And if we look at, I did bench some guys there after we clinched. So if we looked at the season stats, our team leader in WAR among hitters was Mr. MJ Melendez, 4.9 WAR. Bobby Witt really trailed off after we signed that extension. Maybe he's gotten comfy. 4.8 WAR, 108 WRC plus, which is he really slumped in the second half. You can see here April, May, June, July, all above 100 for the most part, well above 100. And then in August and September, a 61 WRC plus and an 82 in September. He did step it up in the 3 October games. Not really concerned with him overall, but he was going gangbusters there and was on pace to have a really great season. I would say 4.8 WAR is still really nice, and he played a great shortstop. But bat wise, we're going to expect more from him over the course of a season than a 108 WRC plus. So, we in the end, those 2 months kind of derailed his season to where it was fine, but just a little bit below the star level production we needed at the plate from him. Austin Meadows, speaking of star level production, 127 WRC plus across 63 games, 1.2 WAR. He hit 12 home runs. He came in and did the job we asked him to do. Gene Segura, not great, 85 WRC plus, played a decent third base. He was fine. Nick Castellanos, man, this was a good season. 121 WRC plus, we'll take it. I wasn't sure how that one was going to work out. It worked out well. Shohei Ohtani, a bit below his kind of like otherworldly production of last year with the 157 WRC plus. He put up a 119 WRC plus. He struck out in 33% of his plate appearances. He hit just 217, did have a 351 on base thanks to walking in 16.6% of his plate appearances. Pitching-wise, pretty good, 3.94 ERA, 4.37 FIP. His Ks were down a bit, his walks were up a bit, a little concerning since he had a tricep injury. Hopefully he can bounce back next year and be a superstar again. But he is 31 now. We knew the risk here, bringing him back on this long-term deal. We've got 5 more seasons left, and I think we'll still have a very good player, at least for the next couple, and a guy who could be an MVP candidate if he puts it all together and stays healthy. Nick Lofton, good season. We'll take the 103 WRC plus from all year. RJ Mayer did trail off, but so he ended up with 253 plate appearances. He was 42% below league average with the bat, but put up 1.2 WAR thanks to his incredible glove in center field. Maybe he played enough to get gold glove consideration. We'll see. Mondesi, pretty much a disaster season from him after what he did last year with 4 WAR, 2.7 WAR the year before, just 0.9. He's got a player option, which I'd imagine he's going to pick up unless he just wants to leave, since he didn't start at times he didn't start down the stretch for us. But bad year for him. Kevin Biggio continued to bring the walks. He kind of trailed off after. Well, no, I wouldn't say he trailed off, actually. That's not fair. He had an atrocious April. He had a bad May. And then he was basically a league average hitter the rest of the year. So, in the end, it wasn't a good season for him. But really, from June on, he did what we needed him to do. League average hitter who can play multiple positions and walked a lot. Matthew Acosta was pretty good in his limited 103 plate appearances above league average with the bat. A shame so much of his season got wiped out due to injury. JC Correa, really, I need to look at his splits. Yeah, man. Like the 25 WRC plus in September really tanked his season numbers. I would say at this point he's not a starter in the majors. Just an 86 WRC plus through 682 plate appearances across 3 seasons, and he doesn't really play any position well. I think he's a good bench bat if you need a right-handed bench bat who can't field great. But, this avoid Ks is always going to make him an attractive option. We'll see what comes for him next year. Marchand, another really rough year for him at the dish. Decent behind the plate. Lutz got 330 338 plate appearances to try to prove that he belongs at this level, and I'd say he didn't do it with negative .2 WAR and a 65 WRC plus. So he's 27 now. Really disappointing that he couldn't do more with the opportunity, considering just how well he had played through his minor league career. And then Rafael Devers, just a disaster season. He has not been the same since he went out with recurring back spasms in May of the 2024 season after really being a superstar, and he's still in his 20s. So, 54 WRC plus, negative 1.7 WAR. He really wasn't even playing that much down the stretch. He was still playing against righties, but then he's, as a lefty bat, he was around league average against them with like 2 months to go, and then just tanked. And he's really just starting to sit against lefties. So this contract's a problem already. Knew it was a risk. Knew it would be a problem later. I knew it was a lot of money. I did not expect in year 2 for him to be just unplayable. That caught me off guard. I think the best we can try to do is maybe try to package him with like one of our top prospects. We have like 5 of the top 15 prospects in baseball, and maybe just try to get out from under that contract and spend that money another way. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Pitching side of things, the WAR leader was Alec Marsh. He also was the R WAR leader, just absolutely stepped up and was a machine for us this year. 2.39 ERA. We've got Brady Singer coming in with 4.4 WAR, outstanding season, 5.2 R WAR with a 3.13 ERA. Murphy and Suriel both putting up 2+ WAR out of the bullpen. Murphy did get some starts, but in 88 innings, 2.7 WAR and 3 R WAR. Outstanding season from him, and really, I think it was just a great second half, especially. Let's just look at it by ERA. Yeah, you can see May was a little rough, but then 2.18, 1.69, 1.695, and 0.84 in September. So the ERA was great. I mean, the FIP was incredible. Just really came on there towards the end of the year. Zerpa, solid season starting for him. Soto came over and was a good bullpen arm for us. Asa Lacy, a disappointing season for him. He turned it on some at the end, but his FIP is over half a run better than his ERA, but considering what he did last year with the 3 WAR season, 3.04 ERA, a 1.2 WAR season with a 4.88 ERA was a step back for him for sure, and he was even out of the rotation at a certain point. Ohtani was good, but not an ace. And then we've got Seth Martinez, Will Klein, our bullpen ace, a bit of a disappointing season from him here with the 4.14 ERA across 95 innings. But that's kind of an overview of the squad. I do want to go back to the standings and just point out that we were one of 4 teams to cross the 90-win threshold, the Astros, the Dodgers, and the Padres. And really, I probably buried the lead here, but the Nashville Box Turtles in their first year as an expansion team won 88 games and won the Atlantic Division. How did they do it? Good question. They got 3.2 WAR from Ricky Saldana, 2.8 WAR from Edinson Paulino, 2.8 WAR from Andy Pages. Jerickson Profar put up 2.3 WAR. Their bullpen ERA was first in the majors, or in the AL. Gallegos. Oh, okay, so they've got some decent arms here. These are some really decent major league arms. McGill and Hudson and Bednar in their rotation. Hector Gomez. So yeah, the Box Turtles, man, making noise. So let's go ahead. We'll get to the postseason. We'll see who we're playing. Not going to play it out. Going to let my manager do that, but we will live and die by the simulation button and see how it goes here as we jump into the postseason.
All right, playoff time. We're facing the Mariners. I'm not going to play these games out. I'm taking the strictly general manager approach here. I'm just going to simulate them. But let's take a look. Actually, I don't know. I just click it there. At the Mariners. So Kelenic and Rodriguez and Marte, who is no longer a prospect of theirs. Of course, they brought in Luis Castillo in real life and gave up Marte and part of that deal. I think I probably got that right. I think that's right. So they've still got J.P. Crawford, Kyle Lewis, Logan Gilbert is there, Tom Cosgrove, who they claimed off of waivers in June of this year from the Rockies and is now their number one starter. Wow. So this guy just had a couple really good relief years in Colorado, and I assume he's probably out of options, and no, he still has an option year left. Interesting. He was optioned 3 times this year, but he went from claimed off of waivers to being optioned multiple times to signing a 5-year, $52.6 million deal and being the number one starter on a playoff team. That's not a bad year for you there, Tom. Julio Rodriguez, what's he done? Oh, wow. Look at what he did this year. 8.7 WAR, 176 OPS plus, 200 hits, led the league with a 325 average. So it looks like he missed a lot of time in 2024 with an injury. 22 and 23 was just a monster, though, too. So, and he signed a contract extension in this one, too. 8 years, $172 million. Oh, with an opt-out. A little different than the deal he signed in real life with the Mariners. But that's interesting. All right. And then what about Kelenic? What's he done? Ooh, terrible year. Terrible year. Why is he batting second for them? Why is he playing every day? I guess that's the guy who's rolling out Rafael Devers and his negative WAR and DH. Okay. So he's been fine. And then the team as a whole, 8th in runs scored, 4th in runs allowed, really good defense. And they do, of course, have old friend Jorge Juan, who we traded them at the deadline and pitched well for them with the 3.09 ERA. And, of course, we gave up Juan and just some prospects who were kind of throw-ins for Andres Munoz, who tore his labrum. I forgot to cover that. But, yeah, he came over. He pitched really well for us. He pitched 40 and 2/3 innings, put up a 1.11 ERA, 1.90 FIP, but then he tore his labrum. So, that sucks to lose the closer. His price didn't come down yet. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens to him in the offseason. If with the torn labrum, he's out for 4 more months, like if that brings his price down or what. I don't think I'll go after him. Shoulder injuries, man. Those are generally a doozy. So that is the Mariners. It looks like they're not going to have their number one starter ready. Were they kind of like battling it out until the last day? So they looks like they were tied going in the last day with the Cardinals. They won. The Cardinals. Oh no, sorry, no, that's the Rangers. The Mariners were very much in, but they still decided to use their number one starter. Thank you, McAfee. Looks like they still decided to leave that in there. So Robbie Ray and John Gray, I guess they got from Texas. They're both in their bullpen. Gray is their closer. He's very unhappy about it. All right, so this is the team that we're playing. Our games start tomorrow. They're still starting Jay Groom. We will, of course, start Brady Singer. The team is here. The team is ready. I'm not going to play these out. We're going to sim them, look at the box score. And remember, it's a best of 3 at home, all at home. So let's see how game 1 goes here. See how badly my manager mismanages the bullpen. This is actually how I used to play the game until I started doing the channel. I never managed or played out or watched even the postseason. So we gave up 3 runs in the top of the 8th. He had our closer in there. Will Klein was in, and Will Klein blew it. Looks like Melendez had a home run, a solo shot. Meadows had a triple. Those were only extra base hits. Looks like Groom must be a lefty because Devers was not. Yeah, Devers didn't start. And Mondesi started in center. He starts against lefties, which I think is still the right call. Mayer's equally bad against lefties and righties, but Mondesi at one point was hitting better against lefties. That's no longer the case. So maybe we should just go with the guy who's the better bat. Yeah, we'll just do that. Just looking at this lineup against lefties, we're stacked with righties here at the bottom. But I'm not going to demote any of these guys anymore. All right, so we've got to win 2 in a row now. We're facing Logan Gilbert, who led the league with 207 innings pitched, 3.60 ERA, 5.51 FIP. He won 17 games. All right, let's hope our season doesn't end here. Oh, and we've got Alec Marsh on the hill, so I feel good about that. Ooh, we won 4-2. Oh, 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th. Huge. Was it a home run or anything? Meadows with a 2-out, 2-run triple. Looks like Bobby Witt doubled in a run. So, man, all right. The big bats coming through late in the game. Devers started and went 1 for 3. And Marsh went 4 1/3. Wow, quick hook. Or he didn't get hurt, did he? No, quick hook. I like it. I like the quick hook. I'm good with that. And we had this dude come in. Colby White is only up because we had injuries. He pitched 5 1/3 innings for us, and he just closed down the game. All right, cool. So now we're going against their number 1 starter. I hope I had the volume turned down internally for this. Not totally sure if I do. Hopefully this isn't going to blast you guys out. But let's go in and just watch bits and pieces of this game. I'll try to resist the urge to jump in. Oh, Ohtani. Yeah, okay. Base running. I'm going to let him control substitutions. Wait, why is Ohtani batting 7th? Can we change this, please? That's obscene. See, and this is the thing that, like, throws me off. Like, putting Ohtani in is really difficult. Oh, so I need to change it so I can. All right, dude. All right. So Ohtani's a lefty. Let me think about this. I don't really love having lefty, lefty, righty, righty, but I don't want Meadows, Melendez, or Ohtani batting lower in the order. So I think we'll do this. Will do it, right? Yeah, we'll do that. Nick Lofton's just hitting playoff hero, just hitting 143. So Biggio is in right field. Oh, because Ohtani's at DH. Right. Got it. I was like, why is he in the lineup? So Devers, of course, is on the bench here against a righty, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles when you're a -1+ WAR player. So I think this looks good, yeah? Lefty, righty, righty, lefty. I'm good with that. And then we go righty, lefty. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's start the game. Just looking at our bullpen. Kind of taxed, man. Kind of taxed. All right, let's go Royals. I am going to go to options and game options, and I'm going to put my manager back in charge of that. Let's go ahead and skip to the 3rd inning and see what's going on. All right, we're up 2-1. We got 2 in the bottom of the 1st. It looks like Meadows drove in a run with a double, and then Ohtani singled him home. Ohtani has thrown 31 pitches through 2 innings. He struck out 5, but he gave up a home run to Marte in the 2nd. Let's go ahead and skip to the 5th. All right, we're up 3-1 now. Oh, Ohtani went yard. Ohtani doing it all. Big day from our DH / starting pitcher. How many pitches is he at? He's at 72 pitches. So let's go ahead and skip a half inning here. All right, so it's still 3-1. Still 3-1. Oh, they pulled Ohtani at some point in that last inning, which seems really early. I don't know. Maybe the AI is better in this version. I just haven't realized it, or maybe it was like a patch since I've played last. But some of these hooks are early. Yeah, only 77 pitches. I'm assuming maybe they had some guys on base there in the 5th. It's just very un-AI-like. So let me look at the game log here. Let me try it up here. Very out of the park AI-like. So what happened? Oh no, he came out and struck out a guy swinging, and then we went to the pen. Huh. Okay. I mean, I don't mind them being aggressive with the pitching changes. I don't mind that at all, especially in a do or die game. Any defense? No, I don't think we need to make any defensive changes. So let's go ahead and skip this half inning. Okay, so it's still 3-1. Let's go ahead and skip this half inning. Still 3-1. Seth Martinez is still in. Oh, it only took him 6 pitches to get through the last inning. Let's watch this at bat. It's a 1-2 pitch. We're really getting to the nitty gritty here. So, all right, now JP Crawford's up. This is a 2-2. That's the count, not the thing you wear. What is it? Ballet. 2-2. Luke Murphy is in now. I like this pitching change. I'm a fan of this manager's pitching changes. The manager I promoted like out of obscurity to manage my team. All right, so that's a swing and a miss to end that inning. We're just going to go ahead and skip to the next half inning. Maybe we did not tack on any runs yet. So now Will Klein, the closer, is in, who blew it in game 1. Two. Grounded to first. Come on, man. Run back there. Thank you. So Castellanos makes the play. Now we'll get a 1-0 pitch to Oscar Mercado. That's a base hit, maybe? Nope. Our boy Mayer out there scooping up everything, dude. All right, who's this? Jace Peterson's up. He's 0 for 2 today. Another 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. All right. Now let's go. Let's just skip this half inning. All right, we didn't add any more runs. They've got the heart of their order coming up here. 2, 3, 4, close enough. Klein is at 12 pitches. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. It's hit into left, but that looks playable. Oh, yeah. All right, now here's Julio Rodriguez. Thankfully up with the bases empty. 1-2. Popped up. Yeah, man. Mayer's going to be all over that. It's going to be all over everything. There's nothing he's not going to get to. He's going to get to everything. So Marte's up now. He's 4 for 11 in the series with 3 home runs, including a home run today. But again, thankfully he's up with the bases empty. 3-1 pitch. Come on, Will. I mean, I don't hate the fact that we're facing Torrens instead of Marte, but the fact that you put the tying run on just sucks. 0-2 pitch. Shift is on. Struck him out. We won the wild card round. We're going on. We're advancing to the division series. Meadows, 500 batting average, 583 on base, 3 RBI, 2 runs scored, series MVP. Bullpen was excellent. Let's see what next series brings. Got another day to rest that pen. Good. Oh, we've got Houston. So the negative run differential Astros made it through, huh? Oh, wait, no, they had a bye, didn't they? They had the bye. I forgot that there's a bye here. Oh, it's weird with the NL on what the hell? Wait, what? I'm so confused right now. Why did we switch? The bracket just totally reseated between leagues even? Like the Mets and the Red Sox are in the same league. What the hell happened here? So the Braves and the Blue Jays played. I think basically this is like a bug or something. We're still playing the right team, but this series got moved over here and then our series went here. Everybody crisscrossed. So the bracket is just not accurate. That's really strange. I've never seen that before. So we're clearly, I forgot to change this. We're clearly not going with a 5-man rotation. And so is Singer ready? Singer is not ready to go. It's disappointing. I thought he would be. Ohtani can't be either, no. So Zerpa's going to start this? All right. You say so. Shouldn't he? Oh, no. Okay. He only one off day. Got it. So the Astros, as you know, were terrible and got lucky. Just kidding. They still got Alvarez, Altuve, Bregman. This is the guy we're facing. He's won like an MVP or Cy Young. I remember, 2024 Cy Young, a couple All-Star games. Yeah. Let's go beat this team who does not deserve to be here. All right, game one. Here we go. Finished today. Ooh, we lost 4-2. Ohtani had a 2-run homer for us in the 7th to bring us within 1 at 3-2. Zerpa didn't pitch badly. We gave up an unearned run. Oops. Such is life, not getting the bye like the Astros did and having our 4 starter go against their 1. Would have been nice to scratch out a win there, though, but we'd like to take one of these games in Houston. Let's see. Ooh, rough. We lost in 14 innings. So we tied it in the top of the 9th with a run. Then we lost in 14. Who had hits for us here? Castellanos had a 2-run homer. That was our only extra base hit. We had 9 singles. They had a home run in the 1st, the 7th, and the 14th. Singer pitched 6 2/3. Then we went to the pen. Our pen has got to be tired, but we'll get a day off. But we've got to win 3 in a row now against Houston, who won another 1-run game. Imagine that. So what's our bullpen? Will Klein is hurt. Diagnosis pending. That's rough, guys. That's really rough. Just changing some of these roles. All right, so we've got Alec Marsh on the hill, who is really like our best starter this year. Let's see what he can do for us. Oh, we won. But the computer DFA'd a minor league guy who we can just release. But we did win that game. We'll get there in a second. So we won 6-4. Let's just go to the next day real quick. Man. Oh, God. Oh, God. This is brutal, guys. 2 of our better relievers are dealing with some serious injuries. I mean, shoulder inflammation, man, shoulder injuries are no joke, just like in real life. Always concerned how a guy is going to come back from that. So he's obviously done for the year. And then Seth Martinez is out for a year with a torn elbow ligament. It's a guy who's threw 66 innings for us this year. That is brutal, man. That is brutal. I'll get over this in a minute. Let me just mourn this a little bit more for a minute. So we'll put him on the 60-day IL. And then Alfredo Garcia is back, who is actually pretty good for us in 72 innings, all out of the bullpen. I put up a 3.72 ERA and a 3.87 FIP, 3.09 Sierra. So, happy to get him back, but dang, man. Dang. Who is another guy that we can bring up here? Oh, I think there's a guy who we'd called up who pitched a little bit for us. Yeah, this guy. He was having, I think, a good year in AAA. Yeah, and he threw 5 1/3 innings for us. Yeah, all right, we're going to place this guy on the playoff roster. We'll throw Suriel into the closer role, or actually the stopper role. Eighth and close game is fine. Setup, we'll move Murphy to setup. All right. Man, this is middle relief. Leave him in long relief. All right, let's go ahead and see how that looks once it's reorganized. Yeah, but that's a blow to the bullpen, man. Like our close. I mean, Munoz is already out, our closer. So then Klein, our closer, is now out, and then one of our better middle relievers slash setup guys is out. So pretty tough time of year to be down three pivotal bullpen arms. But here we are. Got a pretty tired bullpen too. It's a must-win game. Did we look at this yet? Did I look at this? I don't think I did. Marsh went 4 1/3, 71 pitches again with the quick hook. All right, man. I like it. Melendez went yard. Otani went yard again. Meadows went yard. Rondon went yard for them, their number 9 hitter. So that's cool. Devers went 0 for 4. Yeah, man. Otani's having a nice postseason at the dish. So is our Meadows and Witt. We lost. Wait, Garcia, I thought, wasn't he the guy I just activated? All right. Well, I don't know. I screwed something up there. I guess I didn't put him on the roster. And we lost by a run, so it's probably our bullpen that blew it. We blew it in the 8th. Who was pitching for us? Orze, the guy that we, or Ors, whatever his name is, the guy that we had. What? Otani? Otani was hurt. Sore shoulder, man. I don't like the way his injuries are trending. Tore tricep, now a sore shoulder. And then we pitched 2 2/3 for us, and then we had to go to our decimated bullpen. I mean, Max Mayer pitched in this game, for God's sake, because our bullpen was just gassed. Castellanos went yard again, but yeah, that's tough. And we lose, and we lose our DH. Max Mayer hit. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's a tough way to go down, but. Yeah, this freaking Astros, their negative 9,000 run differential. Let's see. Let's watch them go win the World Series, huh? All right, Alfredo, I get it. I forgot to put you on the roster for that last game, and it cost us the season. There, you're there now. Let's just see how the playoffs end. Maybe. So it's the Astros and the Padres and the Braves and the Red Sox. This on the left is your NL, and this on the right is your AL. Remember the Dodgers got swept by the Rangers. The Dodgers won 106 games. I had not noticed that, and the Padres won 109. And now they go to the right side. So it's Padres Braves. Padres, of course, representing the AL. The Braves representing. Or the Padres representing the NL, Braves representing the AL. We're getting a auto monthly save here. But, to recap the season, or to kind of, I guess, look forward to the offseason, we are going to have to stabilize our bullpen a bit with those. Martinez won't be back next year. We're already going to need to add some bullpen arms. Klein will be back, but I'm a little worried about that shoulder. The Padres swept the World Series, so congrats to them. But yeah, all right, 638 score. Cool. Oh, wow, a bunch of guys left. What? My hitting coach left? Did I get a message about that? Why did he... My bench coach retired. Dude, I definitely had him signed. Is he interested in coming back? Maybe his contract was not up. I'm really confused by that. Okay. Anyways, we still got the number 1 and 4 prospects in baseball. Of course, Mondesi is going to come back on a $10 million deal after he put up a .9 WAR season. I mean, good for him. He earned that. Yeah, so we've got a lot of work to do here. We've got a bullpen to fortify. We've got Rafael Devers' situation to figure out, and Alberto Mondesi situation to figure out, some guys that I'd love to get rid of. But we'll handle that in the next video, kind of recap this offseason for you and go through it. Thanks for watching your 2025 Royals. Sorry we fell short of our ultimate goal again, but I feel like the contention window is still open, and we'll be back next season to try to break on through and get that elusive World Series.